Today we're going to be talking about all about the Google Map Pack in 2024 and how you can get your fencing or decking company to rank higher there and how you can really dominate that area so you can be that preferred contractor in your area and get all the leads or get as many leads as you possibly can. All right, so we're going to cover a bunch of stuff. These are just kind of some of the highlights that we're going to be covering. So some of the updates from Google for the Map Pack, we're going to be talking about that. And then the 5 biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking on Google. And then we're also going to go through our proven model for ranking inside the 3-pack, the Map Pack. You'll see I use those interchangeably, 3-pack and Map Pack. And then we're also going to be talking about tools to help automate some of this stuff and make you a little bit more efficient and get better results. All right, so if you're wondering who I am, why you should listen to me, I'm the owner of Fence and Deck Marketers, the owner and founder of that digital marketing agency that only works with fencing and decking companies, and also the host of the Fence and Deck Mastery podcast, which is great if you're ever looking for content and listen to some other industry experts. And we have all kinds of stuff and all kinds of guests that we bring on there. Feel free to check that out. But I've been doing digital marketing for about 10 years now, and just chose to single in on fencing and decking because I've done fencing work myself, and just I know how hard and backbreaking work it can be, and just have a lot of respect for the industries as a whole, and just met a lot of great people as we've gotten closer with the people and contractors in these industries, and also a member of the AFA and NADRA. And I was talking to, if anybody's a deck builder, I was talking to Pops Beaudry, and he said if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line, it's NADRA, and if you're south, it's NADRA. So if anyone was wondering. But yeah, we only work, as you would probably guess, is fencing and decking companies, but we do all types of digital marketing. Today, we're going to be talking about Google Maps and SEO, but we do pretty much every type of digital marketing, including website development, pay-per-click, Google ads, social media, Facebook, Instagram, local services ads, whole bunch of stuff. So we'll be going through all that. All right. So before I dig in, I want to kind of talk to you about like our marketing system and the main 3 principles of it, and kind of what you need to be thinking of if you want to grow your fencing or decking business and really start generating a ton of leads from Google and from online sources. So our omnipresence marketing system, the first principle is maximize opportunities, which we're going to be talking about a ton today, because Google Maps ranking there, that's how you get a bunch of opportunities. Brand impressions, so having your business seen online, different areas. We're going to be talking about that as well, because it's critically important for your business to be seen. The rule of advertising, the rule of 7, 7 times somebody needs to see your business before they actually engage with it. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that too. And then third piece, which we're not going to touch on a whole bunch, is going to be conversions. So turning all those people that come to your website or come to your ads, whatever, turning them into actual customers. All right, so I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. So with Google Maps, put a 1 in the chat if you think it's just as important as it's ever been, and put a 2 in the chat if you think it's maybe not as important. It's a little bit less important, I guess. Got a couple 1s. All right. I'm sure that was an easy one to guess. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this. Oh, Tim, nice. We got some debate here. So yeah, it's definitely just as important as ever. And I'll show you some statistics and all kinds of cool stuff that we'll be going through here. But the big thing to note with your Google Maps is, well, before I get to this stat, 87% of people go to Google when they're looking for some kind of service provider. So that would include, fencing or decking help. So that's 87% of all people do that. And then 44% of the clicks and the calls go to this Map Pack section. So this blue section right here. If you remember in the beginning, Map Pack, 3-pack. Tim just explained. I got it. Yeah, we'll be talking about it. No, I like it. I like some different. We'll get some good debates and stuff going on there. So, all right. So yeah, basically that's where 44% of all that traffic goes to is to this section right here called the map pack. And then basically everything else, will go towards the ad section or towards the website results. But the critical part about the map, like ranking this section right here on the Google Maps, is it's very bottom of the funnel leads. So you're getting people that are basically, Google can recognize that they're searching something that means that they want to contact somebody. So, a perfect example, fencing company near me, deck builder near me. These keywords, Google can tell like they're looking for somebody to contact more than likely. So when it shows this map pack, it's for these guys that mean business, basically, they want to contact somebody, they need help. So that's why it's so important there. And I'll show you some other things as we go through this too, but there's just so much potential ranking through this map pack. And the more you can rank in here, the further away, the more leads you're going to get and more money you'll make. All right. So of course they do matter. And this is just an example. This is a real-time client with their leads. And I actually just wanted to grab just an example real quick for this, just to get some updated numbers, just to kind of show you what the lead flow could look like. And it was pretty funny. I didn't like plan this whatsoever, but if you look at the calls, 73 out of 164, unless I did the math wrong, is exactly 44%, or it's 44 point something. So that was kind of funny to see. It was that exact number of what, the statistics say. But kind of the important thing to note here, you see the different call differences. So this is anything that comes from Google to your website and then reaches out. And then we have Facebook and Google ads too here. The Facebook ads are all forms. That's why there's 0 there. But you can see all the majority of the calls are going from the Google listing. So your GMB stands for Google My Business. That used to be what it's called. Now it's called Google Business Profile, but people still call it Google My Business all the time. So it's kind of still interchangeable, even though it's been like, I don't even know how long, probably 2 or 3 years, something like that. But Google Maps is what is really going to drive calls. And some of you out there might be running pay-per-click ads out there. And I'm curious, just put in PPC in the chat if you are running pay-per-click ads. Just curious if there's anybody running those right now. So far. Okay. Oh, got one. Amelia. Oh, Amelia, you're sending that directly, just so you know. It went straight to me, not the group. Okay, so just one person. So most aren't running pay-per-click ads, so that's good to know. But basically, with pay-per-click ads, that's how you're going to be paying for leads forever. You have to pay Google to rank at the top. If you rank in the map pack, you have to earn it. You have to get that result by earning it through SEO and consistent SEO. But the important thing to note there, okay, we got 2 pay-per-clicks. So 30% of the people go to the Google ads and click on them, whereas 70% go to the map pack, the Google Maps, or the website results. So 70% of all the people go there. So that alone is just an overwhelming stat. But at the end of the day, it's also cheaper. So, and I'm not knocking pay-per-click. They do work, but I'm just kind of telling you if you are using them and if you've been wondering if you should, they are a really good idea, but SEO is what we always recommend first. And a big part of that is it's cheaper. With pay-per-click, you have to spend a lot more money. $3,000 or more is typically what we recommend for just the ad spend. And that's not even including someone to actually run them, which you absolutely do want to have someone that's good at running them, or else you'll just burn through money. But from a cost perspective, $1,500 a month for SEO, believe me, there's very, very cheap companies out there that, are much cheaper than that. Don't frankly think they will do that great of a job, but, they do get cheaper than that. But with ad spend on pay-per-click, plus paying someone, you're looking at, 3 times as much, something like that, just to do that, just to run the pay-per-click ads. And then with SEO, your results stick. Pay-per-click, once you stop paying Google, your results kind of go away. All right. So I want to tell you some of the changes that have occurred with Google and ranking in the Google Maps. So it's really, really important to have a Google listing that's within an area that's near your target customers. They're really changing their algorithm to show customers businesses that are very close to them. So they're really heavy on being geographically located in a similar area or nearby area. So that just means it's harder to rank farther away for your business, and you kind of have to switch up that strategy. And you can kind of see this pretty clearly as an example. If I'm in Maryland, so if I was searching, fence company near me in Central Maryland, and then do the same search in Northern or Southern Maryland, it'll be completely different results. And that's an exaggerated result. I'm going to show you an example here of how different the results can be by being much closer. But the also Google is putting paid ads in the map results. So you may have seen this before. There's actually an option to show your Google Maps, your business in the Google Maps as an ad. So it's a little sneaky thing they're doing there. And then they also have the Google Local Services ads or Google Guaranteed, if you've ever run those. These are really, really good product, but mainly just for fencing. They're not set up properly for decks just yet. I'm going to get into that a little bit more here, but if you're a fencing company, local services ads are a really good product by Google. And then if you are paying for the local services ads and you're doing SEO, it's kind of a way just to show up more and I guess own more real estate on Google. So if you have a good review count, that's going to show on both of these. And you can kind of just take up more of Google and make it more likely someone will contact you. Something you may or may not have seen, depending on how long your Google business profile has been around, but now Google is making it extremely hard, well, not extremely hard, but harder to get verified with your Google listing. Before it used to be a postcard where you just mail a postcard to the address, type that code in, and you're good. Now they make you do a video where you have to go through the office, a specific office, and show yourself unlocking the door and show the address and things like that. It's a lot more complicated, even a lot more complicated than the postcard days. Also, the hours of operation. This is a really important one too, because now they've started ranking your business lower to your competitors if they are open later, even if they're doing better with SEO and ranking better normally. So if you are ranking better, from 8 to 5 when you're open, and then somebody searches at 7 and your competitor's open till 9, they're going to rank above you. And that's what Google's made the push towards. So doing that alone is a really big piece there, and something we've been pushing clients to get answering services and things for after hours. So that way they show up later and, then you get more leads and stuff too. It usually pays for itself pretty easily. All right. The last one is they're pushing more towards commercial versus residential office locations. So you can have your house, your home office as the office location, but it's just not going to rank as well as a commercial one. So commercial, they are pushing more towards, I guess, because it maybe just looks a little bit more legitimate. But if you can get a commercial office, that is the better way to go. Okay, so I'm curious to see who's keeping tabs on their rankings. If this is something that anybody's consistently looking at. So put a 1 in the chat if you fairly regularly check your keywords, type in things like fence company if you're a fence contractor, or deck builder near me if you're a deck contractor. Put a 1 in there if you pretty consistently check that on Google. And then put a 2 in the chat if you've never really done this or pretty much never do it. Oh, nice. All right. So we got some that are keeping pretty good tabs. Okay. So Tim and Laura, and then everyone else. Okay. So it is a good idea to do this, but I want to see if this is, this might sound familiar because you can get misleading information. So if this is an example of searching about 10 miles away from each other, I searched in the center of Baltimore for fencing company, and then I also searched in Arbutus, which is I think it's 10, 15-minute drive. it's right outside the city, and search fencing company, and then you'll see that the results are completely different. So we've seen this pretty pretty often where someone's like, we're not ranking this city, our keywords aren't doing this, or they're not doing that, we're not ranking for this, whatever. And each time I'm like, where are you searching from? Because if you have a 50-mile radius and you're searching 30 miles away, you're never going to rank in the map pack. It's just going to be impossible unless you live in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, just because they just have no clue, or there's no competitors basically. So if you don't, oh, excuse me, one sec. Ooh, choked on something. So if you don't include a modifier like a city or anything like that, then you're basically going to get completely different results like that. So you always got to make sure where you're searching from and how realistic it is. And a huge thing to note is, because I keep talking about how important it is for you to be near your target customers. If you can move your office, or you want to get an office that you're currently out of your house, or you have a shop that you could move the address to that's in a better location, absolutely do that if it's in an area that's solid. It's around your target customers. If you're within 10 miles of your target customer at that other location, absolutely do it. And we've also had, this is something we push pretty hard. If somebody, client's looking to grow, we'll say, where can you find a very cheap office location in the target city you want to go after most? That's 20 miles away from yours. Because if you can find that, you're going to get a ton more business pretty easily. And you don't need something fancy. Literally the cheapest possible office you can find will do the trick. Okay. So let's see here. If you were kind of wondering the breakdown of Google, if you're not really sure about that, I'm going to go through it real quick just so you can kind of see. So the top ones here, these are the local services ads. I was talking about them earlier. So these are a good job. These are a good idea, mainly for just fencing. They have, if you do other services besides decking, there might be some good opportunity there too. It just depends on what you do. But these are pay per lead. So you basically, if you're a fencing contractor, you can say, hey, I do fences. I only want installations. I only want them in these counties or these cities, whatever. And then you should only get those jobs, and you'll get your money back if you get bad leads or spam leads. So it's a very low risk, really low risk system. And then you also have the pay-per-click ads, which is the standard Google ads that you may have heard of. These are going to be more expensive. They're a lot harder to manage. They do get, you can generate good leads. It's just a more expensive alternative. So these combined here is 30%. And then this is the 44% in the map pack. And then this is going to be the 26. I usually say 45 and 25, it's somewhere around there. But that's kind of, I guess, the breakdown. And the results down here, it's based off purely your website. So it's going to be how good the SEO is done on your website, how well your website's built. And you're going to be competing against Angie, Home Advisor, these big companies that are spending millions and millions of dollars, for SEO. That's kind of their whole business play, is to rank on Google and sell leads. So before I go, I'm just curious, since I already know who's running pay-per-click, put in LSA in the chat if you're doing LSAs too, or if you are just doing LSAs, the local services ads, these ones here, or the Google guaranteed, they're called too. Okay, Flora. Okay. All right. So not many. If you're a fencing contractor, highly recommend looking into those, by the way. Just Google local services ads. Check those out. If you have questions, you can reach out to us. But anyways, that's not what we're going to be talking about today. The big thing to note, and something hopefully none of you guys are doing, is using kind of fake or spammy type Google listings. So since 2015, they've just crushed all of the Google listings. Basically just got rid of any ones that were fake that were using like UPS stores or PO boxes. They got rid of all that. And that used to be an old strategy where you could just pop those things up everywhere, and you would get some leads, but Google caught on to this and they want to show like real businesses, so that stopped. But as I was kind of touching on earlier, you can do this legitimately. It is a perfectly legitimate strategy to have multiple locations. You just got to make sure they're real ones. You know, having an actual office doesn't have to be nice, but an actual office that you can set up, that's what you want to do, because that'll allow you to expand even further away. You know, it is a really powerful strategy. Okay, so some of the things that could be hurting your rankings on Google Maps. So we talked about the office in the city you're trying to rank well on. So if you go find your office on a map, see if you're around the target customers that you want. If you're nowhere near them, that's a big problem. You're just not going to get much business. So you got to be as close to them as humanly possible. It depends on the area, how populated it is, but rule of thumb, you know, try to be within like 10 miles of your customers. If you're in a major city, it can be less than that though. The fake locations, we talked about that, the UPS stores, things like that. Also, if you have a Google listing and you don't show your address, that's a big problem. It's called a service area business and they just rank lower. They don't rank as well. The inconsistent name, address, phone number, we're going to be talking about that here in a second. Don't spam your business name. So that's an old strategy too, where you would just like put in every keyword into the name of your Google listing. You know, Baltimore Fence Company, or you know, ABC Fencing, Baltimore Fence Company. You know, there's a lot of stuff people do. You can get suspended for that. People can kind of tell on you for it too. So it's just not the best thing to do. And then if you have a DBA name, or it's possible to add a DBA name, that's the best way to do it, rather than like spamming your name. Put that main keyword that you want. If you're a deck builder, you know, put decks in the keyword in the name of the business as a DBA. It's cheap to do, and then you know, at least be legitimate. And then reviews, we are going to be talking about like crazy today because they are so important. So we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so here's our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack, the map pack, same thing. So we're going to be talking about claiming and optimizing your Google business profile, build citations and consistency with your name, address, and phone number. We're going to talk about how to get reviews, and we're going to talk about on-page optimization, or you know, just getting your website dialed in. Does anybody not have a Google business profile, Google My Business listing? Just put in yes if you, or say, sorry, put in no if you do not have one. I'm just curious if there's anyone that doesn't have a Google business profile. Sorry, I'm getting confusing now. Okay. All right, looks like everyone has one. Good. Okay. So to get your Google business profile updated properly, sorry, this is a wordy one, but there's a lot of good stuff in here. First things first, you got to have, you know, make sure you actually claim it and create it. It looks like nobody doesn't have one, so there's some steps in here I'll skip because everyone has one. But first things first, make sure the company name is correct. You don't want to spam it and add, you know, random keywords in there. Use your actual name. It should match your logo, your website, things like that. And then the DBA name. So we talked about that. If you can add a DBA name, that's hugely, hugely important. And that's something that can get you some big results really quick. So let's see here. The website. So if you have a website, I hope you do. It's going to it's going to be hard to rank really well in the map pack without a solid website. But make sure that's on there. Use a local number. You don't want to use an 800 number. You want to use a local number. Local address, no PO boxes, UPS stores. You can use residential, but commercial is better. Upload photos. So make sure you have plenty of photos. It's always a good idea to have personal ones of yourself, the owner, the staff, your trucks, equipment, uh, pictures of your work, every service that you have, make sure you have plenty of photos that talk about that. And then the service area. So you don't want to be a service area business. You want to show your location. So whether you're residential or commercial, it's best case to do that. If it's absolutely out of the question, you can just create make yourself a service area business and hide it. It's just not really recommended. Of course, list your hours of operation. You got to list all your services and then all your products or your services as products. So when you set up your Google listing, you're going to see the option to set up all your services and list those out. You want to do that, but then you want to also add them as products. And then when you add them as products, you can add photos for each one of them. And then you can also add a website link. All right, since nobody commented on this, I'm not going to go through how to create one. We'll skip over this stuff. All right, and then I want to show you some additional best practices. So we talked about the photos. So as soon as you get off this call, I would recommend checking your Google listing and adding these things. But the photos is so critical to have a good foundation of them. But set a reminder every month to add, new jobs that you finish up, add those to the website. Another little hack, you can rename the website, or sorry, the images, rather than uploading, 1024.jpg, rename it, fencing-company-city-state. And then if you ever heard of Google Posts, they're basically like social media for your Google business profile. Ideally you want to post these, once a week if you can, at least once a month at a minimum. But with these, you can post different offers you have. You can post past jobs you've done. They have all kinds of options for there. Reviews, make sure you're responding to reviews, whether they're negative or positive. If they're negative, just kill them with kindness. Best case is get a hold of them and get them to take it down so it doesn't affect you too bad, because everyone does read reviews and they say people trust. I think it's 80% of people trust online reviews more than they trust what their friend or family tells them. So there's not a whole lot of trust in I guess with friends and family these days, but you want to make sure those look good and you're responding to them, respond in a positive way. If you respond like a jerk, they're going to think they're working with a jerk. So just kind of puts negative, portrays you negatively. And then the positive reviews, and actually negative too. So you can put keywords in there, explain, thank you so much for choosing me for your fencing contractor. We're so happy you love your new composite deck. Things like that. You can use AI for it, ChatGPT, if you're savvy with that. They do a good job of creating responses too. And make sure if anybody's asking questions on your Google business profile that you answer those. There's a FAQ section for that too. All right, so not the sexiest topic, probably the least sexiest topic of this, but something that's really important and something you really need to make sure you have taken care of. So citations are basically your business information across the internet. So if you go to Facebook, if you go to Yelp, these are the popular ones. You go there, they have a list of businesses with their name, their address, their phone number at a minimum. They might have other information too. So these are what Google uses to kind of verify information and make sure that information is correct across the internet. So it's really important to make sure your business information is correct across all these other websites, these citation websites. So making sure that this is done, I'm going to show you some ways to figure this out, but you want this information all be consistent. That's how Google is going to feel, warm and fuzzy about you and, want to rank you higher. All right. Another piece to the citations, data aggregators. Excuse me. So the data aggregators are just like it's kind of like a database of information that websites use to get on companies. So they'll go to, and by the way, I think this is outdated. I'll give you a way to find more up-to-date ones, but basically a website will go to these companies and say, I need business information, bring it down, put it on my website. They update their websites using this information too. So you want to put your current correct information on these data aggregator sites because that's what's going to be spread across the internet, and you're going to get a lot of citations created from it. So to do this, if you're curious, go to go to Google and type in Bright Local data aggregators. From there, you'll get some more information on it. But these are really important. There's thousands and thousands of citations out there, so you want to make sure you have them all as correct as possible. All right, a way to make this process easier, because I know it's not the most exciting thing, and if you want to just kind of get it, basically do it for you, you have some different tools like Moz Local, Bright Local, Whitespark, Yext. These tools will allow you to automate this process, and Yext is kind of the big one because that's how you can tell them, take this business information, my business information, and spread it to all these partner websites that you have, and they have a lot of them. So they can say, take this to the 50 or 60 Google Business or citation sites, spread it across there, and that's what's going to allow you to just quickly get this process over with, and then you pay monthly to keep it going. All right, so this is kind of the best practice, kind of an overview of everything. So once you have your Google Business Profile claimed, you use Yext to get those citations added. Then you add the data aggregators. You can use Bright Local, Whitespark. These are ways to get additional citations. Alrighty, so the number one problem, number one hardest thing to get done and kind of speak with clients about is getting reviews. There's so many things that kind of seem to get in the way and make it tough, but I can't overestimate the importance of them. You have to get reviews, and it's amazing the results that you'll get if you are really dominating with reviews. So if you have clients from the past, I'm sure probably everyone here does. Manuel, thank you. Yep, I agree. It's so important. And you have to really dig deep. You got to make sure you look at everybody that's worked with you in the past, contact them in any way you can. I really wouldn't leave any stone unturned and try to get those reviews, that review count up, because you want to be that, if you want to be that dominant person in your market, an easy way to do that is to have a lot more reviews. And if you have a lot more reviews, you have 100 more reviews than your next competitor, that's also going to mean better leads, better types of people coming to you, less tire kickers, because if that's kind of the way you project. If you have a lot better reviews, you're going to seem like that better person. And then if you add a nice website on top of that, that's how you really can separate yourself. So it's so important to do that. So make sure you have reviews, and I'm going to show you some best practices for that too. All right, so these are some ways you can make it easier on yourself to get more reviews. First things, there are tools like this. So there's a lot of different tools that I'll show you in a second to get more reviews. So you can do that to make it easier. These are just some ideas that you can use I've seen work. A printed review card when you finish the job, those kind of work. But at the end of the day, there's shortcuts, but then there's ways to really just dominate and get them consistently and make it easier to get them. So just having a business that has a world-class experience where people want to leave reviews is always going to be the surefire way to get them. So kind of thinking about your whole process and how that works. Making a call, so trying to reach out to them after the job's completed. That's always going to be a great way to do it too, versus like text or email. And by the way, if you're curious, there's a whole webinar on this, like reputation management. If you want to see it, we show all kinds of stuff for best practices, but these are just some highlights here. But calling them, going after them, that's going to be a really great way to do it. And then Having that as part of your company culture, that's where we see companies like really exceed or succeed with it, is just having everybody on the same page and everybody understanding the importance of it and kind of what it means for them. Because at the end of the day, it is it is a benefit to everybody in the company, because if you get more reviews, you rank better, you get more jobs, more qualified leads, the company grows, they grow within the company. It's, it's a pretty simple process. So you want to make sure everyone kind of understands that. And actually, I haven't. So put a one in the chat if you're interested in an SOP that we generated that shows the best practices that we put together. So we created an SOP that shows like the best way to do it, basically, that we found. So I'll put see a couple ones. I'll put a link in there. So this is, you can click that and then click download. It'll basically show you the best way to get reviews that we found. We've taken tidbits from people that have 1,700 reviews, kind of taking the best from everyone. And if this is actually followed, there's no doubt you're going to get better reviews. So take a look at that, show it to your team and kind of go from there. So Chloe said, I don't have a system, so this is good. Awesome. Love to hear that. Yeah, it'll take a little bit. I've seen, like, getting everyone on the same page, it takes some time to implement and get everyone on the same page and working in the same direction. It's just something that just kind of requires some persistence, but at least you have a system that will work for you with that SOP. And if you want to automate it, these are some websites you can do it with: BirdEye, GatherUp, ReviewBuzz, Grade.us. Yeah, I think it's Grade.us. These are softwares that will allow you to make it easier to send out email, and I think they do text to get reviews, which is definitely better than nothing. But can promise you, if you follow that SOP, it'll dominate all of these. All right, next thing. So right now, at this point, you have your Google listing optimized. We showed how to do that. We've talked about reviews. We've talked about all these things that are more closely related to the Google listing. But now we're going to need to talk about the other huge piece. So your website also dictates your rankings in the maps. So you can't just have a good Google listing, do citations, reviews. I mean, you'll still get leads, but if you want to do really well, you need to have a website that's optimized properly. So what I mean by this, you have to have enough content on the website for everything that you do. So you don't want to have a website that's just a home page, an about page, a services page, and a contact page. You want to get very detailed with the pages you have. As an example, if you're a fence company, you should have fence pages for fence installation, for vinyl fence, for wood fence, chain link, all the fence types that you do, picket fence, pool fence, blanking on the rest. I know there's more, but commercial fencing. And if you're a deck builder, have a page for deck builder, deck installation, composite decking, wood decking, Trex decking, deck staining, deck sealing, every maintenance service. Make sure you have those as separate pages on the website, because that's what's going to help you rank for those keywords on Google that people are typing in when they want those services. Once you have those pages, make sure you have enough content. We typically do like 700, 800, 1,000 words of content. So if you're sitting there with one paragraph of text on the page, it's not going to cut it. You're going to need more than that. Make sure whoever's doing this understands HTML, the header tags. I'm not going to go into all that, but make sure you have a developer that understands it. Next piece is city pages. So you want to have enough city pages on the website for every city you do work in. So kind of make a list of the top 20 to 30 cities you do work in, and then create a new page for each of those cities as a separate page on the website. So if you're in, Baltimore, Maryland, that's where your office is, but you do work in Arbutus, you would have a separate website page for Fence Company in Arbutus, Maryland, or Fence Company in Columbia, Maryland. Every city you want to go after should be a separate page too. Super small thing here, but the NAP, the name, address, phone number, throw that in the footer of the website, and link to your Google Maps listing too. All right. So this is kind of what we went over. Um, Claiming optimize your Google listing, the citations, the NAP, lots of reviews and on-page optimization. So this is kind of what we went over through this to get that proven ranking. But I am curious. I'm hoping somebody will volunteer. If there's anybody out there that would like to have me audit their Google listing and I can look at their website, feel free to put your business name in there and I can go through it. And if not, I'll have to figure something out. But hopefully someone will want to share that and I can go through theirs. Otherwise, I'll have to figure something else out. It won't be as exciting. Anybody? No? All right. Thank you very much. Interstate fence. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to start with your Google listing. So let me see. You're in. All right. I think this is it. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Huh. Are these this? I mean, it has to be the same. And feel free to unmute if you like. But I'm just curious. Are these looks like the same website, just two of them? Okay. A little confused by this one, to be honest, but I'm assuming this is it here. So well, I'll do my best. I don't know. It looks like this is duplicated or something. There's two different websites. Not really sure, but I guess we'll just go off this one here. So I'm hoping this is the right Google listing too. You don't have another one, but if this is, yeah, it's San Jose. Let me double check about us. I figured it has to be. So um, biggest thing, the most glaring one, making sure that review count is up. And you can kind of see very clearly like how you kind of stack up by just going into Google and figuring out what it looks like. So you can just go to maps.google.com, fence company near San Jose, and zoom in here. All right, so it's pretty crowded around there. Looks like you got all kinds of competitors around there. So a great way to see kind of where you're ranking. Let me make sure these are in San Jose too. Yeah. All right. So just kind of seeing how you would stack up in general. Um, First off, I would not want to be anywhere. Try to separate yourself away from this giant cluster of companies here because there's a lot of competition. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out who you stack up against. So if you're looking at these competitors here, you know that they all have more reviews. So you have 71, 45, 25. All these guys are going to look better on Google. And I don't know anything about this company. I'm sure you do great work, but with Google, just people that are going to Google, best known, and what looks the best is going to win the lead at the end of the day. So you just kind of have to look at your competitors here and figure out, what you got to do to beat them out. So I would say, at the very least, try to get, yeah, if you're at one, try to get to at least 30 as quickly as you can, and then from there, try to increase it from that. But that part there is just always going to hold you back. It looks like it. I'm guessing it's a residential location, which is fine. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Okay, so you are, okay, so you're like around here. Yeah, so looks like you're not really showing up. Um, so getting your Google list or getting more reviews, I'm assuming this is not optimized properly. So all those steps that I've talked about here, adding all the services, all the service areas that you do work in as well. Make sure you add all of that stuff in there. See what your photos look like. Okay, so I don't think there's any photos. It's just the location. So yeah, add some more photos of the work you've done. You do have a physical location, so that's good. And then your name is solid. Interstate Fence Company. It's got the keyword in there, which is great. That one review in here, respond to it. But yeah, do that for the upcoming ones as well. And the website, let's take a look at that. So looks like you do have separate pages for this stuff, which is good. The website design is just a little bit, my guess is it was developed a long time ago. It's just not a really modern looking website. And something to keep in mind too, like having those nice reviews is going to get them to likely click on the website. And from there, they're going to judge you again. So you want to make sure that website stands out from competitors too. So if the website doesn't look any better than the competitors you have, it's just going to want to hold you back too. But you have the right idea with the individual pages, which is great. You just want to add a lot more content to them. They're just really thin on content. So we said like 700, 800 words. It's like 274 here. So it just needs to be a little bit more heavy on content. And let's see the About Us page. Pictures of you, the owner, is always a good idea. Staff, if you have it, putting that on there as well. And I don't know anything about this company. It looks like you've been around while you're doing all commercial, which commercial is a little bit different than residential for lead generation anyways. There are ways to do it online, but residential is definitely a better way for generating leads through digital marketing. So yeah, to me, I think the website used a little bit of a refresh, but a lot of the stuff here got the right idea. You just got to add to it and maybe freshen up the design a little bit is what I would recommend. Let's see what the gallery. Okay, so you're taking pictures. Good, good. Yeah, so I imagine you're doing a lot of bigger jobs, bigger commercial jobs. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I would look at. And for anyone that's wondering about theirs, just you have to have commercial. I'll admit is a little bit different. You can generate leads with commercial through digital marketing, but residential is kind of where it's better for fencing. But in general, just having that review count higher, it's going to make you stand out. Making sure the listing is optimized right, adding all the services, adding the products. It looks like this one probably hasn't been touched a whole lot, so you want to make sure that's all done properly. If you do have multiple websites, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you definitely don't want to have, if these are the same company and you just have two websites, definitely do not want to do that. You want to combine these. So whichever one is in better shape and gets better rankings, you'd want to have as the main website. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, so you want to combine them. There's no real benefit in combining them, or sorry, in separating them like you are. So just combine those up. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. If you follow those steps from what we've gone through so far, I mean, I know it would help you out. And you can generate commercial jobs. We have commercial fencing clients too. So there's a lot of ways to do that too. It just looks like you're in a pretty competitive area. Looks like there's all kinds of people around this area. So, and just a little side note here for anyone that's might be curious. Just because, most people will see like a big city, San Jose, or, wherever it may be, just the major cities, and kind of go right in the middle. Depending on your strategy, I'm not talking towards that. I'm just saying for lead generation, a lot of times the best way to go is like, we see really good results is kind of the suburbs outside the city. So if you set up shop a little bit outside of a city in a really good area around your target customers, away from a ton of competition, it can allow you to really generate a ton of the leads or capture a lot of the leads. So if you're out, I don't really know this area, but this is a complete guess, but like maybe if you're over here somewhere where there's less competition, um, the gray area is going to mean more populated areas versus the green. So if you're on a little bit of an outskirt, there's a lot of potential to bring in a lot of jobs versus being kind of smack dab in the middle of like one of these guys here, where they're just going to overshadow you. They're going to take, my guess is they're taking pretty much everything because there's so many of them. So you're just kind of getting swallowed whole there from a marketing perspective. Again, this is just marketing. I know it seems like you guys been around, definitely not knocking, your business at all. Just kind of talking from the lead generation part. So that's what I would recommend. And anyone really curious, we've had lots of clients that we push this harder than ever now because it's gotten harder to generate leads because of the economy this year. But if you have one location and you want more leads, you pick another office location 20 miles away, start up there, get a bunch of reviews, and then you're gonna have a whole bunch more leads coming in from that one as well. So it's not a overly expensive strategy if you can find a cheap office, and it can really work wonders and really help grow the business exponentially. All right. I hope that helped. I hope that was helpful in everything I went through. If you have any questions, or just put them in there. But all right, I think that was good. What we've covered overall today. So we went through the Google Maps listing and all the updates with those, the issues that are preventing you from ranking on Google, and our model, our proven model for ranking in the map pack. And then we also talked about some tools and some ways to automate some of this crazy stuff that I've been going through. Yep, that's it. Social media stuff, if you're curious, we do post on everything. So these are just all the channels. You can take a picture of those and kind of go from there. So I appreciate everyone jumping in. That was great timing. We're right at 3. So hopefully we'll see you on the next one. And again, reach out if you have any questions or want to see how we can get you more leads and make you more money. But till next time, appreciate it. Take care, everybody.